All right, we have one more free chair up here, if anyone is really eager to disagree with me. Otherwise, this is an interactive session, and I would like to start off with actually explaining the rules of a fishbowl discussion, because maybe you not all have been part of one, and I think my last participation, it's been a few years, actually. Okay, so what's a fishbowl discussion? You heard my thesis already, and I'll start off in a minute to repeat it, and I hope that you all have very strong opinions one or the other way around that thesis. And you're invited at that point to come join me on one of those 4 chairs here, grab the mic that's on the chair, and talk to me. We'll have a discussion. We'll talk about it. And then there's 4 chairs available with 4 microphones, though there's one catch. One chair with that microphone on it must always remain free. So you can always come in, sit on that chair, but then someone else needs to stand up. And this ensures that we are rotating. And I'm also rotating, right? I'm not special in that discussion, otherwise, other than I'm just kicking it off. But I also leave that circle, and then we just keep going as a group. So that's the most important rule. And there's no other rule who needs to stand up, right? The 4 of us here in the middle will just, with the social dynamics in this group, figure it out together, right? And we'll have myself and Nina actually enforcing that. We'll give you a little bit of slack time, but not too much. All right. We have about 30 minutes, and the mics should all be turned on. And I'll start sitting down because one of equal. All right. Where do I start? Story time. That's a feeling that's accompanying me for quite some time now. Doing Ruby for 13, 14 years. Ruby and Rails. Appreciate it. I love you guys. I still finish that.
Go on.
And I feel that my skills were degrading. In my past job, when I told other software engineers what I was doing my day job, they were raising their eyebrows saying, oh, people still do that? And I would say we were just, your regular Rails shop. I mean, yeah, we kind of deployed still on physical hardware, but it was not just that, right? It was not just that. Looking at the Ruby conferences around the world, you could see attendee numbers declining, and also looking for a new job, which I did at the beginning of the year, was a kind of weird experience because searching for a Ruby job is not impossible, it's not all vanished, but it was definitely harder. And now sitting on and that I mentioned before, sitting on the other side of the table is kind of the same deal for me. Hiring Ruby engineers is equally weird because most of them have a lot of experience already and might be not that super energetic mid-career engineer who wants to build shit all that day. Most of them are actually architects who want to sit in front of Miro or have been doing software engineering for 20 years. I love architects. I've been doing software engineering for 20 years now that they see themselves as managers. And that's not bad, but it just makes it harder to hire Ruby engineers.
So you want this mid-level person who's very easy to get up to senior or above, but you can still kind of pay a bit less for.
No, I'd pay a regular mid-level position, I'd say.
And those people are hard to find. That's the main issue.
For me, they were hard to find.
May I ask the question, what are you doing for the ones below? I mean, in order to get to mid-level what you want, you need to invest also into those learning or getting into the job, right? I don't know, do you have any apprentice positions? I don't know. Does any of the companies you have any, or working in any apprentice in IT?
You could do show of hands who has a Ruby apprentice, software engineering. There we go.
Well,
I have
much.
the same amount. 0.02 apprentice. No, I don't have any.
Why is that? I mean,
yeah, why is that?
So the thing is,
do you have an apprentice?
No,
why not?
Well, the thing is, I'm working as a freelancer. I'm renting out my time, but I was also thinking if I should start or getting an apprentice. I don't know if that even is legally possible. It all started last year when I had a schooler intern for 2 weeks. It was really great and awesome, but now he's gone, and I said, I don't know, an apprentice. For me, as a freelancer, I'm alone, but maybe I'm doing that. I don't know. Then yeah, I would appreciate everyone that's invest in the future, invest in the youngers, and then also we might have new people.
I don't know. This is not. The session is not about finding me a junior developer. I just want to make this clear, right? I'd rather focus on, do you share the feeling that Ruby is getting irrelevant? Though I want to answer to that. I do have the official Ausbilderschein, which you need in Germany to have apprentices, and we might actually hire those people. I just switched jobs, and there was too short of a notice until August.
Yeah, invest in the young generation. But yeah, I have the feeling. So the thing is also the story of someone needs to leave.
You sit down.
Oh no, that's good. That's good. Muss einer gehen?
Right?
Okay. No. So the things I want to share also a story, so that I've been race developer for 14 years, and then I started as a freelancer 10 years ago. I was freelancing for 5 years, and then I switched job into a management position, and was in the management position for 5 years at Xing, and we didn't had any. We had some apprentices, but myself didn't. This is a self-made problem because I also was hiring then more senior people because it's easier. It's easier, but easier is not always the good thing. And then I started freelancing 2.5 years ago, and the market is also very different. There's less project going on. Maybe there's less money in the market, but definitely I can, second to that, he had a feeling like, okay, is Ruby dead? I don't know.
So I'm here to say it's not dead.
Nice.
So we have like a total of 150 of a developer team in total, not all Ruby. It's a lot of iOS folks and a few Android doing some development, and boy, a ton of though Ruby microservices on the back end. Critical sort of a thing for the company where I am. Hospitality, I'm doing a payment system for them. There's a broad range of what we do though on that, and Rails is absolutely critical for how we operate in terms of how it's tested. I mean, it's different in other languages. Obviously, there's testing going on, but the ethos behind testing, for instance, is something that's really strongly ingrained inside of the Rails and the Ruby community generally. And the approach is a little bit different than might be with other sorts of languages. I appreciate it. So it helps us to be able to deliver a better product, a more reliable product. It's critical for us in that business space. It is, as you described, though, difficult to be able to find the right talent. So right now we've had a little shake-up, little hiring freeze, but we're going to go pick up some more contracted help over in Asia and then possibly Central Europe as well to be able to kick it up a notch. I think in the coming year we're going to do that. But we are heavily invested in the Rails ecosystem. Thankful for the folks like over at Shopify that are helping out to be able to lean up and do good things like the garbage collection changes that are coming up in future version of Ruby. Some of that work going on. Amazing to see like Ruby 3.3 and the performance that it has. In contrast, I mean, if you turn on the widget thing, then it's a really pretty cool thing. So we're invested. We see a lot of future in it, and it is very difficult to be able to find the right talent. Maybe you're facing some of those sort of things currently, I guess.
Where are you searching?
Well, we've done just around England itself. So we're based out of London, Soho House, and it's been. We found it takes a while to be able to find the right senior to be able to get, and we have some juniors that are just, wow, they've transitioned from languages over, after JavaScript or whatever else, and they're eager to be able to see what Ruby offers and how that's different, and it's been a positive space that.
And those guys coming from JavaScript, what's usually there? How do you teach it to them? Because I see, and I hire a lot in Asia and Africa, and there are a lot of JavaScript people, and they're very smart. It's just they have never even considered Ruby. So it's the first time when I tell them, hey, can you join our stack? And then it's like, oh yeah, sure. They haven't even thought about that. So what's your learning process? What do you teach them? How do you teach them from JavaScript to become senior Rails?
Well, I don't know if they get very quickly up to senior, but we might have them up to mid-level or whatever. But what we'll do is just show them the code base, have them pair with people and say, all right, let's really have you in the trenches then. And they're along for the ride, and it's a good bumpy adventure for a bit at the first. They're like, oh geez. But it's so readable. I mean, Ruby has been the inspiration behind a lot of how that Swift language that Apple had released about a decade ago or what, at the early onset, like they essentially mirrored a lot of the language and the behavior, even though it's a strongly typed language, Swift. They had utilized a lot of the constructs and stuff and just borrowed it because at that era, 10 years ago, there was so dang much Ruby talent that they just loved the language. So it's one of these very approachable languages. It's something that the onboarding is not difficult, I think, for people to approach it and be able to learn it and really appreciate it. I think it's pretty positive. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like this what we had back in the days, the Heroku free deploy. I think we're kind of lacking that now. Like someone has a play project, they send it in the CV, and you look at the URL, and 80% of the cases it doesn't work anymore.
Well, I mean, self-hosted, like Kamal.
Yeah, just learn Kamal first. Like it's gonna be fun. They said
It's not that hard. But also coming back to the origin, is Ruby dying? So I really don't hope, but I don't think of and also have a feeling that I think there was also a wording around that there's a renaissance for Rails that people are. Damn it.
There was a signal. I wanted to go.
And
Come
also,
in, you have more to say. Go ahead.
so the thing is, looking back at the last years, it's also very exciting what new development comes out from the Rails core team, and also, I mean, the new tools, and also building full stack applications feels nowadays again like back in when I started. When we were, and it's really awesome, really great, and I don't think it's dying. I feel like there's a new shift coming, and the technology is there. We need people, right, to support that.
What I found interesting, so I talked to Ole earlier, and I asked him like, what are you transitioning to? And he said, JavaScript. And I'm old. And I'm grumpy, and I write a lot of JavaScript, and I wrote a lot of JavaScript in the last 10 years, but I can tell you that there's no love in my heart for that ecosystem at all. It is, I would probably call it respect, but that's the best thing I can say about it. And there's so many things going wrong there that I feel like, why? But then again, it's often it's a question of like what you started with, like what can we hire for? What are people interested in? And I love that we have examples of applications where there's a lot of Ruby involved still and a lot of Rails stuff that's still going on. But like, when was the last time you heard like someone actually developing a new greenfield application with Rails? I mean, I guess it still happens, but where and how much in contrast to, I don't know, something like 15 years ago maybe? So that's I think something that we have to reckon with, and I'm feeling like, because I'm old, it feels a little bit like it slowly becomes maybe the COBOL of our time, and that means, honestly, for a lot of people that means a lot of secure jobs, and I'm pretty sure that we're not there yet. So don't worry, but like it's getting there, right? So
I want to circle back to whatever you said on what are we learning, and from my perspective as a teacher at a bootcamp who does Ruby, the applicant, the people who want to come and study that is shrinking, and we have way more React, TypeScript kind of bootcamp. So also the number of people who are junior and getting out with Ruby is less and less, and I don't have 15 years of experience, I only have 5, and I can always see that in those 5 years since I started, shifted my career, that we are less and less relevant, in the sense that I felt like there's a hype on acceleration maybe of technologies. And I'm not 50, but I can see that we have. No, but like I work with developers who's like, guys, it's so hard for you. Like, I've been programming for 20 years, me 5, and the amount of things you have to keep up with is just crazy. And I don't know right now if maybe the state of technology, or how we address or our relationship to technology is like, okay, let's reinvent the wheel. I have a new idea. I want to do it myself. And I think we heard that many times, like, oh, I can do it myself. And sometimes I like an app, and because I have Rails and I'm proficient with that, I just copy it. And I just do it myself as a freelancer. Also, I like just like start up things right fast. But the point is that maybe we're just following the hype of being too excited about new stuff all the time. And I think that's a main trend. But also, if you get out of Ruby community, you realize that everyone has their own bubble and everyone likes doing their own stuff. And if you talk to, I don't know, React, and they have the same maybe feeling about TypeScript, Vue, or Angular just getting around and having this race to new stuff.
I think I'm 2 years old developer and I started not that long ago. And I think we all need to give back to the community to share the race and Ruby between the junior developers. Because what brings me to programming in Ruby and programming in general was the Ruby community. I was testing other meetups in my cities and so on. But the Ruby people, strange people, this is the quote from Linus Torvalds. Basically, I think we need to attend the meetups and create presentations that will be targeted at younger generation of programmers, to the juniors and mid-levels, because I was doing a tourney in Poland through the meetups, and a lot of meetups are targeted into senior developers, and this is something that doesn't talk to juniors, to people that just want to start. And this is, I think, the biggest drawback, that we are not investing enough into juniors, and we are not teaching the juniors. That's why we are, maybe someday we'll be COBOL.
Yeah, I see the same. Like, I can share lots of sentiments that have been shared today. Like, there was a decline actually in the interest in Rails and Ruby. Everybody wanted to build SPA since, like, I don't know, what's the first time I had to do it. Like, I felt forced. It was like 12 years ago or so, and I thought, okay, maybe one day I get it. Maybe one day I understand why people want to have a JavaScript app and a backend app, and instead of doing it like the Rails way, like we used to, which was super productive, and then it wasn't productive anymore. But people loved it because it was new and fancy and cool technology. Yeah, you could do some things we couldn't do before. But as Henning said before, like it feels like there's a technological renaissance right now, like with Hotwire and those technologies, like being able to build the old Rails way again, to build a full app in the backend, just put a bit of JavaScript in there, don't make it so complex. I'm totally convinced it will be much more productive, and I'm just in talks for a new Greenfield project, like doing exactly that, and then I hope it will work out. I built, actually together with Jan, one of the organizers who's here, like another, hiding over there, another small Greenfield Ruby on Rails Hotwire app beginning of this year. And so there are jobs, but yes, there are less jobs than there used to be. And I think sometimes the decision is taken not to do it in Ruby anymore because of the talent issue. Like if you wanna start with a few senior developers, that's easy nowadays. You'll find them. At least the ones that still do Ruby and didn't move on to, I don't know, Rust or Go or whatever. Like people move on, that's fine. But then thinking ahead, like, okay, but what if I need to hire lots of juniors, mid-level people? They're hard to find. I'm not sure it's the same in every country. I know it's here in Germany. I'm not sure Claire said something about the boot camps. Which country was that? Germany? Germany. And yeah, it's worldwide. Like I've seen also like in Barcelona or Spain, there were a lot of Ruby boot camps, and I think it also moved a bit to JavaScript. I've got some contacts to Nairobi. There's still a Ruby community. They still have juniors there, also because of some bigger companies who train juniors. So maybe, at least my hope, my idea is like maybe it moves a bit to other countries. We have heard lots of people outsourcing to Indian developers or so. Maybe it comes back with the technological changes. Maybe it doesn't. I'm split on that. Like, and it's also true. Like, I think it's harder to find jobs, but I don't know. I wasn't really like applying much. I'm in like position. I've got a network, and so I can chat with people, and then something drops out often.
I believe that many companies are searching for seniors. And I believe that's one of the reasons why we are having lack of senior job, everything is decreasing, because why would you join a bootcamp when you have no vision of or no assurance of being able to land a job. If there are 20 bootcamps and there are 2 junior positions in the market, then it just doesn't work. So, in my opinion, the issue is with the companies not trying to open junior positions, not willing to invest into the new people. Everyone would like to do just hire mediators, but how someone will become mediator? Recently, I saw an article, and it was some manager of one company located in Prague, and they were speaking. Yeah, we are thinking about replacing the juniors by AI and having just the seniors, but it's in my opinion, that's a deranged idea, because you will have no more mediators, no more seniors when there are no juniors. Junior is like part of all the thing, and if we are not having juniors, we are really dying. Several years ago, there were those things like, hey, Ruby is dying because of performance and this. I don't know what about you, but I haven't joined Ruby for performance. I joined Ruby because it was able to do some ideas that are from the object-oriented design, and they were possible at the time only in Smalltalk and Ruby. And because Smalltalk is way older and having some issues, Ruby seems like a clear choice. And yeah, I don't know if there are many people that are going to just join the language just out of this thing, like, hey, it's nice for something. But I believe that if companies are trying to save time now by hiring mediators or seniors, they are actually killing the Ruby.
So I want to mention that I've been hearing Ruby is dying for like 10 years in past time. So that's interesting to mention. What I want to mention first, for many years, there was a really big requirements for skilled Ruby developers, not juniors, middlemen, seniors, etc. After that, there was a big hit. So the US companies, they were struck by these 2 banks was shut down, as far as I remember. And after that, like the number, oh, nice. I'll try to make it short. So there was a decline in the positions because USA companies had a pastime, right? They do not know how things will evolve in future, and they're taking a break. And after that's taking a break, many Ruby developers, senior Ruby developers, are taking the time. So, okay, I cannot land a job on the Ruby project, so where should I switch, right? And when time comes, well, there's no Ruby developers to like mentor, to take a position, to do whatever, right? So we should take it into consideration. I think I will return. Who's next?
No,
Do we still have time? Where are we at? I see. Okay, I'll try to keep it short so you also get to speak. So I also learned how to code at a bootcamp 2 to 3 years ago, also here in Germany, in Berlin. And right after my bootcamp, I did the part-time, so I did it for 6 months, twice a week, no Saturdays. That was tough, but it was fun because it was Ruby. And afterwards, I got, or somebody from Shopify reached out to me, and they offered me a paid internship, which I thought, wow, this is so cool. I went through the whole interview process, and I got the position. And then they had this layoff. I don't know if you're like the 10,000 people who got laid off. And they contacted me and they were like, I'm sorry, your position doesn't exist anymore. And I was like, damn, okay. So yeah, for sure. That's difficult. Now I worked as a batch manager at the same bootcamp as well for 1 year. So I've had 5 batches of people who've been practicing Ruby on Rails. All around, I don't know, I would say 15 to 30 people. And they don't find jobs. There's no junior positions. And that's the problem, I think. Because all of the positions, I now also got hired. I'm actually starting my first job on Monday. I'm excited. Thank you. But the problem is there's no junior positions for anyone to take. And that's also the reason why the numbers in the bootcamps are declining. Because people, like when they sign up to the bootcamp, they're like, are there jobs? And people are like, oh, not really. So why would I learn it, you know? So, and that's where it gets difficult. And I also got hired as a mid-level, which again makes sense. But they expect us to have 3 or 4 years of experience, and especially as a boot camper, you know, like it's only the start to your journey. And I also know that a lot of people like kind of laugh about boot campers because we learn it in a very quick way. But if you're excited about coding, that would only be the beginning, right? And you will start from this point, and then you will continue and you study. And of course, you can pretend to get knowledge of 10 years in studying computer science in 3 weeks or 3 months. But if this is the starting point and you continue, you should be able to find a job within 6 months afterwards, I think. But you cannot at this point. And that's where the problem is. We need more junior positions. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So I started working with Ruby in 2017. So I think it's like, it has been like around 7 years now. And I'm in a place where I think I should be a senior paid developer. Companies often want to employ me as a mid-level. Yeah, so, and then last summer I was affected by a layoff from a US-based company. And when I was starting to search for jobs, I realized, hey, before that, jobs were searching for me. Now I have to search for the jobs. That sucks. And also, when I'm like coming with all my requirements for the jobs, the people say no. And so I was feeling a little bit like, you know, like a spoiled child who doesn't get what he wants anymore. And I was really angry. And then I, at the Elixir meetup in Berlin, the Elixir people were like, oh, but you should do Elixir jobs because companies who work with Elixir are still, you know, like wanting to have you because nobody does Elixir. So whatever you do, you will get all your requirements and all the nice spoiling, pampering. And I almost left Ruby because of that. And then I was, I found a Ruby job and it fit my requirements, fortunately. But in the back of my mind, I have this like plan B with Elixir because I want to be spoiled and pampered. So I'm saying to the companies who say it's also hard to hire Ruby developers, just give them a good salary, give them what they want, you know, and then they will come. It's no problem.
Hello, I have a theory what's happening. We have to consider economy here. We have to see that economy is very bad in Germany. It's growing better, but a growth of 0.3 this year. And even some years ago we had Corona with negative growth in many countries. So if you don't have a growth, then it's less, company will have less intentions to train junior developers. Most of the junior developers in the past, in my opinion, was trained by small companies. In my case, it was like this. When I come out of the university, I get to a very small service provider, and they trained me. But of course, these companies are not hiring more people because they are in a surviving mode, or even at least to exist. And now the bigger companies are saying, hey, where are the developers? It's because the small companies are not longer training them because they don't have money. I think this is something that will improve. It's already improving, but of course, it will require some time before the economy can recover, and then small companies grow again and are there to train new junior developers. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Yeah, that's also exactly what I wanted to say, and I also wanted to address Kaya, because this is, as I am leading a small company, and I have the opinion, I see that junior developers, they request a lot, and they do not think about me as a small company. I do invest in a junior developer. If you come to visit my company, I will pay you more wages than I can get for your position. So I'm investing in you as a junior developer. And then I have the fear, I don't know if that's true, but I have the fear always that once you're a mid-level developer, and I will start earning on your position, you will leave me, because you will get more money in a different company, in a large company, in a company that has venture capital, for example. That's the problem. So, yeah, you have to consider that. I don't know if there is a solution, and I don't want to say you need to request less money. You can request whatever you like, yeah. And I really want you to earn every euro you can, but this is a problem. I don't know how JavaScript solves that. Perhaps they have more venture capital. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been programming Ruby since I think 2008, and I've seen, like myself, the community getting older and older. And something that you said when you announced the talk round today is something that struck with me, because I think nobody is actually against hiring juniors. But you need a certain amount of seniors to actually guide the juniors, make them successful, because I think that is what you want to do. And I think it seemed like you also transitioned into a position which is more management-like. And I recently thought about it a lot, that is it actually possible to get the people who transitioned away from Ruby to another technology or to another kind of role back into these senior positions? And I think we already talked a lot about that maybe the onboarding and hiring of juniors is neglected, but this is like the other side of the story, and I think we also, it is also actually hard. I mean, now I can just tell from my personal position that if you have ever transitioned into some kind of management role, like having the opportunity to actually get back into a technical role, maybe get back into a Ruby role where you could teach juniors, is also something that is not at all a topic. It is very hard if you are, once you're out of the game, even if you have been very technical, to get back into the game. And I think if we want to grow the number of juniors that can step into the, for example, Ruby industry, you also have to take care, how do you get experienced people back into the industry that they can that they can take care of the juniors and create environments where that feel confident in taking up more juniors.
Okay, I was just tasked with. Congratulations, last man standing. I was just tasked with finishing this round off. Actually, I would have just loved to say on something like you said, and it also plays into, I don't know where you're sitting now, the penultimate person who said something, that it's hard to have enough seniors in the company and that people want to have too much money. And it's true, like in many companies, there are less seniors in Ruby. It's also like, I'm not employed, I work as a freelancer. Why is that? Companies don't pay enough. It's easy as that, yeah. Like it would be nice for me to be in an employed position as a senior developer, but I have so much more free time, I can take so much more holidays, I get more money as a freelancer. In a company, what would be my choice? Become a manager. Take some more responsibilities, and I'm not a developer anymore, then I can't help out with the juniors. It's a vicious cycle. Anyway, it was a great discussion. I think I personally loved most the contributions of the junior developers in this round, because I think most of us saw this as the issue. We don't have enough juniors. Ruby's not dying. Ruby is great. Rails is doing great. But we have a bit of a problem with young people coming in and companies keeping doing that. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Liked it.